I've been in the YouTube animation community for a while now, and one thing that I've noticed is that we seem to have this fixation with sharing embarrassing stories about ourselves. And I think it's about time that I share some of my own. Ugh. Okay, let's get this over with. So growing up, my mom was always considered the cool mom. When my friends came over and were causing complete chaos, my mom would just sit there and say, "More candy and video games?" Yes. But being terrible, teenagers, we started pushing to the limits ever so slightly. It started small with things like staying up late, waking her up, wrestling, and then breaking a lamp. But then things amped up completely when we didn't clean up after ourselves before mom got home. Here's where the embarrassing moment comes in. My mom was heated. She, at that very moment, didn't care if we lived or died. She had had enough. And I swear I can hear our neighbors in the distance calling Child Protective Services. We were horsing around and saw the unholy child bear before us as she unleashed her full fury upon all of us. I was dumb enough to plead with the vile creature to not do this in front of my friends, but it only infuriated her more. It was one of the most embarrassing encounters I've ever experienced, and obviously my friends never wanted to come over again. Alright, for this next story, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a warning because this is where things get steamy. Now, we all know Shrek is love, Shrek is life, right? But did you know my love life started with Shrek? But it's not what you think. I was still young and uninitiated. I've yet to even hold hands with a girl yet. And here I was, finally on my first date. The girl I was with, let's just call her Cindy, was way out of my league. She was cute, rebellious, and experienced with dating. We'd made plans to go see a movie and, what would you know? The rom-com of a century was showing in our local theater. That's right, the green love machine himself, Shrek. As we got our snacks and found our seats, I was sweating bullets. I became more and more focused on the film as Shrek serenaded our ears with his amazing Scottish tones. Suddenly, I reached for popcorn and realized that our hands touched. She made a move to hold my clammy, sweaty, hormonal hands. Towards the end of the film, as Shrek and Fiona share their loving embrace, I sensed her look at me. I looked at her back, and she leaned in for a kiss at the exact same moment Shrek and Fiona kissed each other. And I was completely dazed. Years later, my friends would never let me live it down that my first kiss was during a movie in which a large green man farts his way into love. Wait, hold on, I'm sorry, 1 second. I feel like this needs some extra context. Yes, obviously, I was more interested in the girl than I was the movie, but I'd never put two and two together that, wait, my friends might make fun of me for, being super into a girl while watching this movie. To this day, they still will bring it up every once in a while and be like, "Hey, Shrek is love, Shrek is life, ha ha ha." But anyway, let's continue. When I was in middle school, my friends and I thought we were the bad kids. Two friends and I made plans to sneak out late one night. We were so excited we didn't even plan on what to do next. So we did what any middle school boy would do. We started throwing rocks. At each other, at road signs, and one of them hit and broke a window. We ran away under the cover of night and thought we got away with our heinous crime. We had all but forgotten about it until a few months later. I was in class, minding my own business, until all of a sudden 2 armed police officers busted into the door, pinned me to my desk, and cuffed me. "Do you know what you're in trouble for, son?" "No." And they brought me down to the station. Once they explained to me why I was being brought into custody, I started to cry. And not just one single manly tear, I mean full-on ugly crying and asking for my mom. Thankfully, I wasn't sent to jail, but 2 days later, I went back to school and the rumors had already begun. I heard he ate the head off a bat.
I heard he stole the principal's dog.
I heard he obtained and leaked the nuclear launch codes. I wish I could shrink down so small that I would implode and disappear forever. Eventually, the rumors died down, but I was known as the neighborhood troublemaker for the rest of my middle school career. I was so excited to be invited to spend a long weekend at my friend's family cabin. We were on a lake, so there would be swimming, kayaking, jet skis, and sweet, sweet s'mores. I would be at this cabin with 2 close friends and 2 others that I've never met before. We decided to get right into the fun once we arrived and go kayaking. Well, sucks to suck, I guess, because there were only 4 kayaks and 5 of us. As the smallest one, I was designated the one to sit on top of one of the kayaks as my friend rowed us along. Somewhere along the way, he thought it would be a mega super awesome bro move to rock the kayak to try to tip me off. Well, it worked. I slipped off the edge, but not before my swim trunks caught on the edge of the kayak, ripping a huge hole in them. Where was this hole, you might ask? Well, the story wouldn't be embarrassing if it weren't directly over my entire butt. Oh, but it only gets worse. I'm in the water, I checked and felt the remaining shreds of what used to be my shrimp trunks, but now I'll have to go back into the kayak. The boat is above the water, and I have to hoist myself back on top of it. There was no way I was going to get through this without it being cheek city for the rest of my friends. I struggled to get back on, and found myself spread eagle on this kayak, half my body on, half off. Rump roast on display. My friends pretended to see something very interesting in the other directions as I finally got myself back on the boat. They rowed me back in complete silence.